I don't know how to begin this video by saying that I've played over 90 hours of Persona 5 on the PS4. It's been one of the longest games I've ever played out there, besides some of the Dark Souls, Elden Ring, etc, and y'all name it. But this one's quite different, because this is a traditional JRPG type of game, but it does have its own core elements. Game's developed by P Studio and published by Atlus. The game came out on the PS4 and PS3 in 2017. See, I think the initial release was supposed to be on the PS3, but they decided to put it on the PS4. I don't think I blame them for it, because otherwise it probably would have sold poorly. But I think that was a smart decision they've made. But most of the gameplay, since that, well, it's the same as I'm about to talk about, because this review is particularly focused on Persona 5 Royal. Royal is the same game as the original, but has some brand new features and expansions. Two new characters makes their debuts, along with new personas, outfits, and musics. There's also a brand new expansion campaign, if you guys get it in a certain time right. Well, in order to get this traditional expansion campaign, you have to maximize the new student to all the way to 10, the counselor all the way to 10, and the Akechi to all the way to 8. The main reason you have to give him all the way to 8 is because he's going to go around 10 towards the later part of the game anyways, as I'm not going to tell you what it is. Anyways, just like the rest of the series, you play as a teenage boy who just went to be transferred to school, and you meet friends like Ryu and a cat. Yeah. They have a cat who keeps saying it's not a cat and wishes that it was already known to be a human, but who knows if it'll actually be a human. The game has a huge exploration around Japan, where you can go around, shop, play some games and all that sort of things, and activities. You can talk to people, hang out with them, and certain partners you can hang out with, you can actually gain some level ups depending on which personas they are. And you can even level up some of your partners up by interacting with them more often. The more you level up, the more abilities and powers they get. And some unique abilities that are automatically featured in the game. Now with Persona 5, well, it's a thing called the metaverse you go into, where it's supposedly, well, I guess it controls people's emotions or whatever. And then after you defeat a certain enemy, they begin to confess their true feelings and everything, and they confess their crimes. Yep. Beat them down to an alternate version of them just shows off what they've actually done in the past. Exposing them for sexual harassment, crimes that they've committed, and etc. You got a variety of different personas you guys can even capture, obtain, and etc. You could also fuse personas to create even more powerful ones as well. But you have to make sure you look into their own abilities to see which best suits you up. Now, there is a big gameplay differences in the department of Royal and the original game. Some bosses has dramatically changed, so yeah, that's going to be like the biggest differences you'll probably encounter. Why wasn't this on the PS3? Probably because it was already late into the lifespan. But PS4 Pro, you guys can play that on. And now, you guys can play on PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PS4, Steam, and Switch. There's even so much to do in this game. Like, you can go out on a date, play some video games at home. Oh, and by the way, there's some parody ones of the games I've seen in there as well, like a Punch-Out parody, and the music to it sounds extremely similar. I think that's one of the big examples of a great reference. There's also, you can read books and go into a hot tub. There's even an achievement where you can go steamy hot in a hot tub as well. I've actually gained like over 90% of a trophy list so far in this one, which shows you how much time I've spent playing this game. Now, when you guys explore in the metaverse and such of each place has their own unique location, like a castle, a heist bank, an artist museum, and many other places they have over there. So here's the targets in this one. You have to stop the main enemy before a certain date arrives. If you fail to do it, the game is over. But you do have plenty of time to level up your character, learn some stuff about emotions and stuff, so you can, increase the attributes of them. Which again, you can do this by reading. Oh yeah, and you also get a part-time job in this game, which also should be able to help you earn money and some of your attributes for your own personal attributes. The game also has multiple endings, and you can get them in like, say like what kind of choice you want to make in the game. For the biggest example, the game at times can be on a difficult side because you don't know what weaknesses some of these bosses have, and you also don't know what kind of strategy you need to choose. Sometimes there's some bosses that are straight up unfair that you have to keep trying to level up before anything happens. I think I should get to the backstory of this too, so for me exactly. I remember a girlfriend at the time introducing me to this series, but that was I think it was before that was a dating even happened, but I had little to no interest in some of the series. I think it was just the introduction was the 3DS games. But again, I had like zero to no interest in actually even getting a Persona game. I've seen them as the covers, but I never really got into it. I don't know what pulled me into it, but Persona 5 Royal was the only one I decided to try. And let's just say I had a big blast of playing that game by any means. I think you could also say that she was a big Shin Megami fan at the time as well, because this was something that she wanted to play. But unfortunately, she never had a PlayStation 4. All she had was an Xbox One and Switch. But now, hey, anything happens now, because Persona is no longer a PlayStation exclusive. I'm saying this right now. It is no longer a PlayStation exclusive. I think I'm starting to follow the trend here because Yakuza, now renamed Like a Dragon, has just broke out of the PlayStation exclusivity to now it's expanded to Xbox and PC, for example. I should mention about the outfits in the game. Depending which outfit, the music actually changes the mood of battle and such. So whichever thing you wear, the music is outright different, so it's no longer the same. You can even enable different music during the battle, but again, that's all I'm going to say about that one. The later parts of the missions, they can get a bit more difficult at times, like I was mentioning before. And the original final boss was one of the hardest bosses I fought, but I managed to defeat him within a few tries. But then I found out I got the regular ending because I didn't think that I did not get I thought I got the expansion ending. So, thankfully for New Game Plus, I was able to convert all my stuff, and I was able to get the ending that I wanted. So, I should mention there's also a sequel called Persona 5 Strikers, which is a Dynasty Warriors type of game from Omega Force. But anyways, I think if you guys take the time and day and a chance, you guys can appreciate the game for what it is. I think this game is more of a story-based type of game. I know there's RPGs in there, but the game always tries to focus on its own story. Because, well, Shin Megami, of course, is going to focus on their own story, and RPGs tend to be focused story-like, But again, I think this game will give you something to do for at least 90 hours. Well, unless you play Royal, that'll give you like an additional probably like 10 hours if you guys got to the expansion level. But again, all the original DLC from the original game are included, but you have to pay for the new ones if you guys don't want to deal with it. Unless if you guys have the PS5 and some of the re-release versions, which they do come with the new DLCs and all of that. So, what do you guys think about Persona 5? Let me know what your experience is about the game, and I'll see you guys then.